is director's cut movie, put on your mask and gloves. Action, they didn't notice us. Jump out from different angles, nuts. This one's a movie scene, them cameras shooting, I seen them freeze. Frames, colour grey, so clean could have caught a case. This is director's cut movie, put on your mask and gloves. Action, they didn't notice us. Jump out from different angles, nuts. This one's a movie scene, them cameras shooting, I seen them freeze. Frames, colour grey, so clean could have caught a case.
What's going on, people? It's Flash Johnson and welcome to episode 1 of Director's Cut. Today I'm with someone that's been monumental to the music industry for as long as I've known. He's worked with artists such as Chip, Mist, NSG, IVD, Jar Cure, just to name a few. Kevin Hudson.
Yes. We're in the building. Thank you for having me, bro. And
thank you.
Welcome. Appreciate it.
No, thank you. Like, I feel like this is a conversation that I've wanted to have since I've had the whole Director's Cut idea. Like, you have been monumental to the industry for as long as I've known.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, and it feels like, I've been in it for years now. And we'll get into it, but I feel like I've definitely got to a point where I don't know. I feel like I'm reaching that point of elevation, the next level now. So it's good that people like yourself and other people out there have noticed that I've been in it for a while and they've seen my work and I've come this far, because I can't lie, when I first started, I didn't plan to get here. I didn't even see this as a job.
Trust.
Because I'd started that long ago where being a director wasn't cool. It wasn't the in thing. It wasn't what everybody was doing. So I've got into it and I've just fell in love with it. And then luckily I've grown with the scene, and that's where it's brought me to this point now. So
before we get into your heavy roster, because your roster is heavy. I feel like you can carry your roster on your back, because that's as heavy as. Take me back how it all started. Like, let's go back, way back.
Cool. So it started for me when I was in college at like ages of 18, 19. And I was heavy into the creative stuff. Like, I used to do graphic design, I used to do web design, I used to do everything that was just creative. I've just always been a creative individual in that sense. And then video was kind of something that I did on the side, maybe for like nightclubs, the odd promo here and there, just for small businesses. And then a friend of mine in college was like, can you do my music video? And I'd never done a music video, but I'd been watching stuff for years on YouTube. Even prior to that, obviously, we've all seen videos on MTV Base, etc., etc. So it was like, cool. I know what they do and I know how to do it. Let's just get it done. So I said yes to that job. Done it. Shot it on. It was pretty sure it was my mum's camcorder. It wasn't even my camera at the time. And shot that video, and my computer was so rubbish, can I swear?
Yeah, go on.
It was not even a big swear, but yeah, it was so shit. But I couldn't even edit that video, so my computer was terrible. I couldn't chop that video, so it ended up just being a one take in Liverpool Street, not too far from here, with the guy, camera on a tripod, who's just performing to the camera. But at that time, there weren't many people like me, like I said, doing that. So that was like amazing that I could even do that. He was happy with it. And then we went on to shoot other videos where I was then able to chop it. I took it a bit more seriously at that point, invested into a computer. And then bear in mind, I weren't making any money from this. This was all favors for him. And then I was just investing into myself because I saw that it could be a thing. And I enjoyed it that much that I wanted to just spend money on it. So I then bought a Canon 7D at the time.
We all had Canons still.
Yeah,
we all had
Canons at that time. I bought it from Jessop's interest-free finance. I was like, yeah, I can afford that, £100 a month. So got that camera and then shot more of these videos. His friends then started to come and see it. And then at the time, this is when Link Up and SP and GRM were just starting to grow.
Yeah.
And creating their platforms. And I thought, let me start my own platform. This is something that I've probably never mentioned, to be fair, but I've started my own platform at the time, and I think it was called, I had a freestyle series called Freestyle X, and then the channel, it was probably just in my name, I'm pretty sure, Kevin Hudson. And then I was just trying to load as many freestyle videos and as many music videos on that channel as possible. and yeah, just grow it from there, film it with as many people as I could. A lot of the videos that I was filming started in the Hackney area because the guy that I was filming with was from Hackney, and then he was just passing me around to as many people as he possibly could, and then it just spiraled from there. So, and then after that point, it was just, working with, like at the time, Big Tobes was just coming through. I worked with Big Tobes. Bassman was just coming through. So I was catching on to people that were...
That was getting in their pinnacle,
Yeah. So as they were growing, I was growing alongside them. And with that, I've then gone on to get the attention of, or not even get the attention, I saw that Link Up TV put out a post to say, we're looking for directors. And they had seen my videos, and I've sent through my reel and just said, look, this is what I've done, this is what I'm about. And luckily, I had built up a portfolio good enough for them to recognize it and appreciate the work that I'd been doing. And then eventually went and met with Joey Clipstar from Link Up TV. He said, yeah, come down, join the team, or not even join the team. Let's see how you do. Trial period as most things start. And then I ended up going on my first video with them, which was Rectory 2 at Avellino, Hulk Hogan. And with that video, at the time, I had a GH4, which no one was really filming with at the time.
We just had a conversation about Panasonics. My camera guys are getting on to me because he's a Panasonic, but we're saying Panasonics were the pinnacle.
Yeah. I've walked in, I've seen you filming on your GH5, and
SS.
Even if it was the normal GH5, I'm happy to see them. They're still in order and they're still working. I've still got mine. But yeah, this was when, like you said, we had all started on Canons. And then GH4 had just come on the market, and I was like, right, I need to get that. And I think I probably did the same thing, interest-free finance through...
you had good credit, innit?
Yeah, I can't lie. I had good credit.
You had good credit, innit?
I never messed up my credit. That was one thing. So
don't mess with your credit, young directors. Trust me, you never know you're going to need it.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily, any bit of gear that I wanted, I could get it on credit. Obviously, if it was in the tens of thousands, like the Reds and all that, I weren't enough.
And all the invoices were clearing, so you could pay that finance every month, yeah?
Exactly.
Cool.
To a certain extent. And at the time I was working, so I had a part-time job.
Yeah, always.
So this just before Link Up TV, I had a part-time job, and that was I was able to build my credit if we're getting into the business side of things. So building my credit, paying off my camera equipment, everything that I was investing into myself. And then, GH4 come on the market, 4K, slow-mo, all of this kind of stuff that we're seeing, and is normal now. But at the time,
mad.
It was leagues ahead of the Canons, because Canons couldn't really do what Panasonics were doing, and the Sonys then started to come through after that. So, yeah, going back to that Hulk Hogan video with Rectory 2, I pulled up with the GH4, told Rashid, look, I've got the GH4, this is 4K, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, cool, we're shooting on Canons. If your thing's better, you shoot the video then. And then I was like, okay, cool. I know. He knew that I obviously knew how to operate it. So I shot all the main scenes for that. And then a guy called Daniel McLeod, or McLeod, I always ruin his name. But he had the Canon, and he was just getting other bits and pieces as well. But yeah, between me and him, we shot the video. That video come out. Again, I'm starting to build a name for myself off the back of Rectory was obviously already an established name, but Avellino was growing. And then they had that Young Fire Old Flame tape at that time as well.
Classic tape.
That was blowing up. So I think I did like 2 or 3 videos off of that tape. Name was growing further. And then I started to work with all the household names at that point. So Scraps, Devlin.
Listen, you've got the most monumental Scraps video. We're gonna get to that still.
Yeah. So all of these people that I've been listening to for a few years now, and they were just all coming to me just because, one, I was with Link Up. They definitely helped boost my career. That they were a major stepping point in my career. And then 2, I had the portfolio to show. Like it wasn't a case of turning up on set and people saying, "Oh, what have you done?"
Yeah, they just knew the name.
They just knew the name now. So that was a great time. And then from there, it's just spiraled, and we're doing everybody, whether it's established artists or new artists that are bubbling, and yeah, it's got me to this point.
Would you say Link Up TV's been a big pinnacle in your career? Like, where would you see yourself if you didn't work at Link Up TV when you did?
Yeah, it's definitely a major stepping point in my career. I've always believed in myself, to be fair. Like, I always knew I would get somewhere in this scene. And I feel like Link Up TV definitely sped that process up. Like, if I didn't join Link Up TV or any platform for that matter, it probably would have taken me a lot longer. I can't lie. But it was I joined them at a time where my work was starting to speak for itself already. And I just needed that opportunity to have it out there to the masses, for example. So Link Up TV, definitely played a big role. And thankfully, Rashid and Joey at Link Up TV constantly pushed me through to every artist that came through at the time, because they obviously had other directors like Daniel, like I mentioned, and Adeoji. Like they were doing their thing, legends, and even joining them, like, and meeting Addy for the first time, I was like, wow, this is Addy. Like,
I know the feelings when you're younger, like, yo, this is my man, he done that video.
And I've never even had that conversation with him, but I'd seen his work and really respected his work. There was a few people like Ade, Chazza Petty, Morgan Keys,
I remember watching
the great.
Listen, El Mino. Listen, shout out El Mino. Yeah, El Mino was doing spins before the Ronins were doing spins. Like I see El Mino did a. Listen, El Mino's
twisting up the place.
And these young generation directors won't know about El Mino. You know.
I'm pretty sure I've got some BTS footage of El Mino somewhere.
No, we need to pull that out. We need to pull that out.
But yeah, he was doing.
He had the thing on the camera gun in his arm.
And then he'll spin it. Like, twist his whole body. To
Mino.
spin it around. But,
shout out Mino, man.
Yeah, legendary. And all of them, they were killing it before I got into
Rap City as well.
Rap City. Yeah, they were doing their thing. And even before them, what was the other channel? Soul something, or Culture something.
Streets and what? Not Streets Incarcerated. Streets Incarcerated. One of them,
yeah. There's a few of them.
UK Overstood. UK Overstood. Yeah, legend.
Yeah. So all of these channels had their go-to guys for directors, and I was just watching them all because I was on YouTube constantly every day. This was around 2009, 2010 times. So just watching all of them, seeing their names pop up, and just thinking to myself, if I could only get like 10% of the jobs that these guys are getting, then I'll be set, I'll be fine. Yeah. And then obviously I joined Link Up, and like I said, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have got to where I got to as fast as I got to, I don't think, because they were growing, and that was at the height of Link Up as well, when Link Up was the hottest channel on the streets, and everybody was uploading onto there. So yeah, I think I joined at the right time, one, to help myself, and two, to also help them as well, because like I said, they weren't using GH4s and they weren't using a lot of the equipment that I brought to them. But yeah, we definitely bounce off each other.
You as a director, I've felt over the years, you've always brought something new.
Yeah.
Style-wise.
Yeah.
So you've done Clean for We're Getting Scraps.
Yeah.
Before I go to my next question, the Scraps video.
Yeah.
When you got that song, did you know?
Which one? Iron Mike one or the outro one?
The outro one.
Yeah.
The one where did you film that? Dominica. Yeah. When you heard the song, did you know that was just going to be like a legendary time in your career, song-wise, video-wise, because you were flying out before we was even flying out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't lie. Obviously Scraps is big, and it was big before I did that video. And to me, I always go into a video thinking this is going to be my best video. I go in with like trying to accomplish the best. But I didn't know that was going to be a monumental video in my career, and something that would stand out for me and Scraps at the time. So yeah, I went there. I shot that on my Red at the time, and that was just me and my Red. Like, I was running, gunning in that Red by myself with the big Ronin in Dominican Republic, and I'd just flown from Jamaica. I was filming with Beanie Man in Jamaica.
Beanie Man, Young Bane?
It was either that one or a solo one with Beanie Man. I can't remember. But it might have been both, to be fair. It might have been one trip where I did Beanie Man, Young Bane, and then I did a solo one with Beanie Man as well. And then I was probably more gassed about that because it was Beanie Man. It was the first time working with or it might have been the second time working with Beanie Man. But I was thinking, right, I've just done a couple videos with Beanie Man. They're going to blow up. They're going to be my biggest videos.
Yeah, Scraps ended up being it.
Yeah. Scraps obviously ended up being bigger. But not to say I weren't excited and eager to do the Scraps video. But I was just, at that time, I was just traveling and shooting amazing videos and trying to get the best I could. So yeah, going back to that, I think, like I said, I went in there thinking this is going to be a great video or one of my best videos, but I didn't think it was going to be one that stood out for me for like even till this day. Like, it's one of my favorite videos, I can't lie.
Nah, the video is crazy. And that's what I'm saying with your style. You had the clean style before we were doing clean style.
Yeah.
But going on to style,
Yeah.
what the hell was going through your mind when you edited NSG's videos? Because like I can't lie. I tried.
Yeah.
Terribly failed, but I tried how you like brought the screens together. Like I've never seen no one, especially when you done it as well. I never seen no one do it. Like what was your process?
I can't lie. At the time, like you said, I've always tried to reinvent my style and bring new styles to my work and the industry as a whole. And at the time, I was just sitting there thinking, I think I'd done Options. Options was the first video where I experimented with people flying in, buildings coming in from different angles.
Yeah, you was draw masking for anyone.
Yeah. So I was doing all of that in Options, and I liked Options. It was a good video, but I knew I could do better. So off the back of Options, I think the one after that was OT Bop. And that's when I got really creative with the editing style. So for me, I sat there just thinking, how can I make this better? And nothing was going through my head in the sense of like I hadn't smoked anything, I hadn't drunk anything. Like it was just there, me with a clear head, just thinking, how can I make this the best it can be? And when I first started editing, I started editing in After Effects. So I'm very proficient and like well versed in After Effects. So I've always known how to use that way before I even knew how to use Premiere Pro or any other editing software. So I know what I can do in these things. Sometimes it's just, I don't always have the time to do them. But with that NSG video, they gave me, I think, like a month to do it. So I was like, okay, cool. I've got all this time. How can I make this the best video it possibly can be? So just sat there, bouncing between Premiere Pro and After Effects, getting creative with the edits, and even the split screen effect. I did that by accident. I didn't mean to do that.
What? How?
I think I was just playing around with transparencies and like the way I do that is a linear wipe. So I linear wipe the like half of the frame, and then I reverse the other half of the frame, and then they meet up. I don't know if it makes sense, but I put videos out there on how I do it. I accidentally did that, basically. I was trying to do something else, and then that happened. I was like, wow, that looks a bit trippy and different.
But do you ever get sometimes when you do it, I don't know. And then when you put it out, everyone starts going crazy about
it. Yeah and no. Because when I'm unsure about something, I probably won't put it out. Like I'm very critical with what I put out. So if I'm unsure about it, then I'll leave it out. I wouldn't put it out thinking I'm unsure about that and then wait for feedback. So that I knew what I was doing, and then when that accidentally happened, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I've never seen anybody do that before, and that's my thing. I've always been trying to do stuff that nobody else has done, and create styles that people may have never seen before. Because even before I started doing the roto stuff and people flying in, I had seen it elsewhere. I just maybe made it popular.
I didn't see it in the UK.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anybody doing it here, but I'd definitely seen people do it in the US. So I'm not going to say I invented it, but I definitely made it a thing. And being that NSG were, again, popping at the time, and then me rising off of the back of their success, my video just made it popular, those styles and those creative concepts that I was bringing into their visuals and to the scene. So, yeah. For me, it was just, how can I make things different? Use as many of my skills as possible to make this the most interesting video. And sometimes I look back and think, how did I come up with that? Like, what was I thinking? And it is as directors, sometimes we just sit there and we zone out. We don't even know what we're doing half the time. Well, not half the time. We know what we're doing, but when we're editing, we're zoned.
Just trying new things.
Yeah, just trying new things. Sometimes, like you like I said, I accidentally do things and it works. Sometimes I purposely do things and it doesn't work. So it's just about trying different things. So
especially with masking, what I've learned with masking is either you know when you film to mask.
Yeah.
Or see the mask in your head.
Yeah.
And then mask it. I masked something recently, and I that wasn't my plan. But I literally saw the mask in my head, and I tried it, and it worked. I was like, so that's how you can't just shoot and then just mask randomly.
Yeah, 100%, 100% agreed. Because if you have a plan before going into the shoot and you know how you're going to edit it, it's going to benefit you 10 times over. Because I've done something recently with Kia Keys as well. And again, it's using transitions through masking and wipes and all of that. And we've gone into it prior knowing we're going to do that. And then it just makes your editing process a lot easier as well when you know that's the plan. But
so basically saying shoot to edit.
Yeah.
When you're going to go to your shoot, know how your edit is already.
Yeah.
That's some gems.
Exactly. Yeah. Have a plan and know what you're doing. And then, everything in post-production, if you are the editor anyway, will just fall into place, because not everybody does edit anyway. But if you do, it will make your job 10 times easier if you shoot to edit.
We're in an industry where we have so many hands. Like, me and you both, we've seen the world. We've been so many different places that the camera has taken us.
Yeah.
And I can imagine you with your career, the camera's taking you and put you in rooms that if you wasn't who you are, didn't operate the camera, well, you wouldn't be in.
Yeah. Crazy.
What is some of the most high moments in your career that you can sit and tell your kids or your grandkids when you're older? If they say, listen, Granddad Kevin, so when you was working with Beanie Man, like, what was it like? Or when you was doing this with this person, like, you know, and you can sit there and tell them the stories. Like, what's your highlights of your career?
Beanie Man is definitely one of them, because he's one of those people. His name just rings throughout.
Humble guy.
Any culture, and he's a proper humble guy. And he, for me, was like, I've grown up listening to him. My mum knows who he is. My dad knows who he is. My grandparents know who he is. So when you say I'm flying to Jamaica, where I'm from as well, and I'm telling my family that they're just all super proud to know that.
I know them ones. I went to when I worked with him, my aunt, he's like, yo, you was with Beanie Man. Yeah, let me see. And I see the little picture. So I know that feeling.
So it's a great feeling just to know that your family can boast about you and have, when they're having their conversations, you know they're talking highly of you, because we do this, one, for ourselves, but to make our families proud. So that definitely was one of them. Red Rat as well. Jacure. For me, it's a lot of dancehall artists that I grew up listening to, because that was heavy in
your household. Yeah.
So when I'm getting to meet these people and work with them, I even remember, I think, Jacure Reflection, that song when it just come out of prison. I remember doing my paper round and listening to that song over and over.
So when you get to meet him and you get to work with him.
Yeah, exactly. And then even of recent, Papoose, working with Papoose.
We're going to get to that.
That was a crazy moment, because in school, everyone was on grime back in when I was in school. This is like 2003, 2004, when grime was a thing. But I was a hip hop head. I loved hip hop. And then when Papoose come out, he was my guy. He was the one guy that I just really fucked with. Him and Lil Wayne, they were my guys in school. So when I got to meet him and another, he was super cool. Similar to Beanie Man. You can sit there, have a conversation with them. You can direct them. They'll listen to what you're saying. So yeah, the moments like that, meeting people that I grew up listening to, was crazy. And then, like you said, flying around the world and the camera's taking you to crazy places. Like,
what's the craziest place you've been to?
I think the craziest place and experience was probably Dubai. Like, when we went there, I went with, again, Stylo G and Beanie Man. It's coming up a lot in this conversation. But yeah, we went there, and then one of the Sheikh's sons was, like, he was familiar with Stylo G and obviously Beanie Man. Like, he knew their music and was a fan, from what I understood. And then he invited us to to his house, and it's not even a house, to be fair. It was like it's a compound, it's like some just big open space. It was, when we was driving to get into it, imagine driving down the M25, one side of the M25, and you're just seeing the wall running along the whole side, and that entire wall was the wall that sectioned off his premises, basically. Then we finally turn in, we're driving, we get to a small house, and I'm thinking, oh, this is nice. And then we go in, and it's just his garage. It's not even his house yet. And then in the garage, he's got some, because he was into drifting and cars and dirt and stuff. So he's showing us his cars and that he's building these cars, etc., etc. And I was like, yeah, this is sick. And then we leave that bit, we drive another maybe 5 minutes, and then he takes us to his main garage. And then in here now, he's got Ferraris, Bugattis, Mercedes. Like, and when I say Mercedes, he's got the top of every single car, new spec, old spec. He even had a Bugatti engine just sitting there, just for no reason. Like, every car was there that you could think of in this place. And even Beanie Man lost his mind at this point. He was like, this is crazy that you have this car, yeah. So yeah, he was just showing us all these cars. We sat down, had a meal, just talking. And then again, took us out of there. We went round to the other side, another 5 minutes drive. And then in this place, he had all the classic cars now. So the cars that were maybe made in like the 40s, the 50s, the one-of-ones and maybe the one-of-fives. And he had one car there that had a jet engine in it. And yeah, it was just crazy the amount of things that he had there. And yeah, everything. And he was just telling me that, just telling us stories of what this car was about, because the guy was very into cars. So we then went out of that place and we go around to another side. He's got a go-kart track and we start racing on go-karts. Everything. We didn't even end up going to his main house because there was just so much to do away from his house. And I guess, he doesn't know us like that to take us into his main house. But we didn't even have to. Like, he just showed us so much love. And in terms of just what he was into with the cars and stuff, it was just mind-blowing.
That's all off the camera.
Yeah. And then just captured it all. That didn't even make it anywhere. That's just for memories. Like that didn't make it into a video or anything like that. It was just him showing us love and respecting the fact that obviously Beanie Man was a legend and Stylo G was there. And yeah, I was just a part of it, luckily, because I was filming their videos. And then even before we left, because I think he'd shown all that in one day, and then I had to leave the next day. And he was like, if you want to go to the airstrip, we can take you to the airstrip, you can go on the planes, you can go on this. And I was like, no, I've got to leave. And then we didn't get to do that. But yeah, that trip was crazy, one that stood up for me. And then other trips is just flying around the world, I guess, and staying in amazing places and getting to see different parts of the world that you never thought you would see.
Culture, because culture is very important, and it inspires you as well.
Exactly, because from young, like I've always wanted to go to Africa, and I never thought I knew I'd make it there at some point, but again, this job took me there for the first time, probably when I was like, 26, 27.
Same the time I went there still. Yeah.
So I went to Nigeria first, and that was a crazy experience. And then I went to Ghana. That was another crazy experience.
So I went Ghana still.
Yeah, filmed in Morocco. It's taken me all over the place, places that have been on my bucket list, and luckily I've got to get there and be there and do my passion there, which is obviously filming. And yeah, it's just been crazy, can't lie.
With every high we have as directors, there are lows.
Yeah.
Because it's never high. People think it's lights, camera, action all the time.
Yeah.
What is some lows that you feel comfortable to talk about being a director?
Lows, I think one of the lows was probably like there was a period where I was shooting videos and we all get this where the artist just doesn't like it and then they don't end up coming out. And you might like it and you might think it's an okay video or a great video, but it's an artist thing at the end of the day. Like, your art might not be reflective of what they feel is art. So I think there was a period where I think I'd shot like a K-trap video that never come out. And then maybe like a month later, I'd shot a Chip video that didn't come out. And then I'd shot an NSG video that didn't come out. And I was thinking, like, am I doing something wrong where I'm doing these videos back to back? Obviously, there's videos dropping in between them, but these are big names and big videos that I'm doing for these people. And they're just not dropping because, one, they didn't like the video, or two, maybe we maybe just missed the deadline or something, whatever it may have been. But those are moments where you kind of think to yourself, am I not good at this anymore?
Have I lost my touch?
Yeah, have I lost my touch? So I think that was probably around 2016, maybe 17. But at the same time, those are great years because I had some of my best videos drop in them years as well. But that was over the course of a couple months, maybe towards the end of the year. So there's those moments. There's other moments where I've not done this often. It's probably happened to me once or twice where I've lost footage. And then for me, I take it very personal when I mess up.
We've all been there.
Yeah. I'm sure we've
all been there.
And I think this was on a Jamaica trip as well, where I had shot the video, and I think the night before we were meant to leave, or maybe a couple of days before we were meant to leave, I was just going through the footage and I couldn't find one of the cards, or one of the cards that I'd uploaded, because I'd put them all into folders, arranged everything, and I click into one folder and it's empty, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Like, why is there no thing in this folder? So I've gone over to the cards quickly just to check, hoping that it's still on there, and I've obviously filmed over it. So I've had to go to the guy and say, you know what, the card from day 1 or 2, I can't remember, it's just not there. Like, we lost that footage. But luckily, we were able to go off and shoot it quickly, but it wasn't the same as what I'd done the first time around. Yeah. So it was just a demoralizing moment.
It makes you feel like you're not on point. And as directors, we have so much responsibility behind that camera to be on point.
Yeah, 100%. And then there was even another point actually where, again, it was a Chip video. Me and Chip's been through a few things, and we sometimes banter about it because there's been situations where we've shot a video, and there was one instance where I had a camera team, and this was when I just first started working with crews and then camera teams, and one of the ACs, the AC is the person that pulls focus and is often the person that will hit record on the camera through their wireless follow focus system. And the person just had missed hitting record on like 3 monumental key scenes in the video. So this was Chip and Notes, what was the song called again? CRB check. So we were shooting most of the video. We was already running late. Everything was going a bit left on the day. And then we finally started getting going. And then, like I said, the key scenes that we were meant to capture, the AC had just forgot to hit record. And then we'd missed all that footage. And that wasn't a situation where we could go back and rectify it that day because, like I said, we'd been running behind time. So we just had to move on. And to be fair, I didn't even know she had missed it until I got to Chip's house that night. And with Chip, we tend to shoot and then edit straight away. So
his work rate's fast.
Yeah, his work rate's quick. So gone to his house, sitting there, again, arranging all the footage into the folders so I can start the edit. And then a few of the clips are missing. And then I'm sitting there. Chip's, I can't remember what he was doing. He wasn't sitting right beside me. I'm arranging them, and then I'm just realizing what's going on. These clips aren't there. And you know, because you'll have a clip that says maybe 0017.
Yeah.
And then there should be a 0018 where that clip should be, but 0018 is another scene from later on in the video. So you're thinking, where are the 2 or 3 clips that should be in between those 2 clips? So I'm clocking it now, and I'm like, shit. And I'm pretty sure I sat there for about 30 minutes before I said anything.
You're working out your story.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, what's going on now? This can't be real. Like, and I'm pretty sure there was, prior to that, there was a video that we had done and was on a yacht, and I'd cut my hand and on a drone, so it sliced my hand open on a drone, and that video had to get scrapped because I couldn't shoot for the rest of that trip. So this was probably the second time
you fucked up.
I'd fucked up. Yeah. The first time wasn't my fault, to be fair. Like, it was an injury that I couldn't really do much. And even the second time, it was away from my control. I couldn't have done anything unless I was
still responsible because you're the director.
We're the captain of the ship. We're the director. Like, we're fully in control of what, or we should be in control of what's going on. So again, I'm sitting there 30 minutes thinking, how am I going to tell him for the second time that I fucked up
his video?
So yeah, tell him now, and yeah, I think that next day as well, I'm flying out, so I couldn't even stay to rectify it. So he's ended up shooting that video with somebody else just to get it done. And again, it's just a low moment because you're thinking to yourself, it's Chip, yeah. This Chip is another part of my career that has really boosted and elevated me as a director. So I feel like I owe a lot to him, and to fuck up on 2 occasions now, it's like, nah, this can't be happening to me and my, like, what I'm trying to do, basically. So yeah, it was a long day, I can't lie.
Within our industry, people think it's lights, camera, action, and everything's gravy, like I said to you. Yeah. But I believe mental health plays a big part in what we do, because to stay creative, it really, you use your mind. You know what I mean? Constantly. But how do you keep your mental health in check? Like, when being a director, because you literally have so much responsibility, from crew to artists to yourself to your personal life. I feel like, and that's a lot of things people don't talk about. Like, how do you keep your mental health in check as a director?
For me, is making sure I've got a life away from directing. So I always check in with my friends that aren't anything to do with this industry. And when I'm with them, they don't want to know about what's going on with my life and how my career is going. Obviously, they'll ask, they'll be like, how's work? How's this? And how's that? But it won't be us sitting there talking about videos or artists that I've worked with for however long I'm with them. So me and with friends away from work, and that definitely keeps me grounded and keeps me in check. Checking in, same with family as well, being around family, again, having conversations that are away from what I do, that definitely helps me. And then if I do fall into the pit of just feeling a bit down, then I tend to go back to what has made me happy in the past. So let's say there was a film that I've watched from a young age that's always been my favorite film. I might go and put that on just to relive a certain moment where it was like, cool, my mind's at ease when I watch this, and I remember good times from this film, etc., etc. So yeah, checking in with family, checking in with friends, doing stuff away from what I'm doing that just relaxes me and bringing me joy. Music is definitely a strong one. I like to listen to a lot of music that will help just get my mind off things. And even if it is, I know a lot of people tend to, when they're sad, they listen to sad music. And to be fair, I'm one of those people. Like, one of my main songs is DMX Slipping. When I'm feeling down, I throw on DMX Slipping.
It's not really, it's a sad song, but it's still greasy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Greasy, but the hook is, I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up, I'm slipping, I'm falling, I've got to get up. And
So it's a slight motivation at the same time.
Slight motivation to it. So I've got my playlist of certain songs like that that will just help lift me up. So yeah, music, films, family and friends, for me, definitely helps.
We're in a creative space where information is very important. Yeah?
Yeah.
Who is your inspiration for you to go get information about life, which then you can turn that information into creative ideas?
Yeah. Good question. To be fair, I watch so much stuff. Like I consume a lot, like most of us do, and I don't think I go to any one place to get inspiration from. Yeah, I'll listen to podcasts. I'll be on YouTube pretty much 24/7. Vimeo, anywhere where I can find content that inspires me, I'll just go on there and sift through it. Like I'll be on Netflix going through loads of different shows just to get inspiration. I might be watching Korean shows one day and then the next day I'm watching some US drama. Like I just consume so much stuff and I take stuff from everything and maybe put that into a music video, maybe incorporate it into my life. Yeah, just everything, to be fair. And then in terms of people, obviously I'm inspired by directors that have come before me, like a few of the names we mentioned earlier. Prior to that, the likes of Hype Williams, Director X, Colin Tilley.
Legends.
Yeah, just legends in the scene. And then in the UK, there's the likes of Hudson, Vertex. A lot of these people were killing it before there was any platforms on YouTube, before it was a thing. Luke Biggins, legend. Rest in peace to Luke.
Long live Luke.
Yeah, long live Luke. And yeah, all of these people I've taken and learnt a lot from prior to me getting into it, and even whilst I'm in it still, because a lot of them are still going. A lot of them are still strong within the field of music videos and creating and being creative. So yeah, I take from individual people, like a few of the names I've mentioned, and then I just take from loads of different sources from everywhere where I'm consuming content.
You done something recently that I thought was fucking legendary. You done something that all of us directors go through, but we just talk about it amongst each other.
Yeah.
Your skits.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when you done that? Because when I have to DM you every time I see it, I'm like, bro, I go through this. Yo, fam, wait for my friend, yeah? Give me 5 minutes. Like, what made you get the confidence to even do that? Because some artists might even find it offensive.
Yeah. To be honest, I've always wanted to do it. Like, not even always. Let's say the last 2 years I've been wanting to do it. And like you said, I thought the same. Like, artists might find this offensive. They're probably not going to want to work with me, etc., etc. But I got to a point where I'm in my, like, probably 12th year of directing videos now. Like, if I can't do this now, and especially where I feel like I'm at a point where I'm about to transition into other things, if I can't do this now, then I'm never going to do it. So let me just speak up for all of us and make these skits, because we've all been through it.
Yeah.
Like you said, we all talk about it amongst ourselves. And I just thought to myself, fuck it, let me just create a skit and share to the world what we go through, because it's similar to this podcast. And like, people forget what we do and how much work goes into what we do. And even though I'm doing it on a lighter note and there's banter behind it, I'm still kind of expressing what we go through in a way. And it might just be the bad, but at the same time, people can find good in it. And artists have commented and said, I look forward to these and find these funny, and I didn't know I was doing that, blah, blah, blah. So like, a lot of them are taking the light side of it. No one's felt offended. And even when I'm on set now, it's like artists are thinking how they can not be annoying. Yeah,
because they don't want to be the victim.
They don't want to be the victim of a video. So even, like I said, the other day I shot a video with Kia Keys, and the banter was like, a few people come late and they were like, I'm going to end up in one of your skits now. So it's like, people are thinking about what I'm doing and trying to stop it and avoid being the buck of my joke, basically. So, I feel like it helps just make people realize that we do a lot and we're not machines, and you can be annoying at times when you turn up 2 hours late or when you want 100 changes on a video edit, or you promise something and it's not quite it, and we've done a whole plan behind what you promised. So I feel like it helps educate as at the same time as being a bit funny and having a bit of a laugh behind it.
No, it's proper sick, man. I do Director's Cut to celebrate your hard work and obviously to motivate the next generation of directors that want to be in the same position we are. Like, you worked with people such as Papoose, Ed Sheeran, Chip, Gigs, NSG, Potter Paper, IVD, Big Nasty, Russ, Krypton Conan, Mist, Scraps, and many more. Do you ever look back and think, I'm that guy? Like, I've really done it, or you feel like, no, there's more work to be done?
Yeah. I tend to go back and look at my work. Like, I've got a folder of every video that I've ever done. Like, I keep everything that I've ever done, and I always try to go back and just go through things just to remind myself of what I have done. And I feel like that's another thing that helps my mental health at times, where I can go back and think, yeah, I've done a lot, and just give myself a little pat on the back. But at the same time, I always want more. Like, I'm a very driven individual, and I'm hungry in that sense. And I feel bad even when I take a little time off, because I feel like, I should be working. And sometimes that's not great, and it's not good to do, but it's just us as creatives. That's just how we do things. So, like, where we're always trying to strive for the next big video or the next thing, next part of our career. So yeah, I'm humble in the sense that I never feel like I'm that guy and I'm the biggest or the best director. And it's only maybe in the last 2 years I've kind of settled in the fact that maybe I am pretty much known within this industry, but I wouldn't call myself that guy to a point where I can sit back and now relax and just take in the reward, what's the word? The rewards, basically, and kind of live off what I've done in the past. I feel like there's a lot more for me to do, basically, and I'm always striving for the next thing, and that goes into music videos, that goes into films, hopefully, that I'm trying to get into. Even if I'm doing a little content piece for TikTok or my skits, like, I'm always trying to do the best I can possibly do to make it a thing, like a staple part of my career. And I'm just always trying to drive myself forward. I've never really sat back and thought, I can take my foot off the gas now. I'm good.
Before we wrap up, there's a question I ask all my guests. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Advice for my younger self? I would say document as much as you can, because that's one thing. That's the only thing I look back and I think to myself, right, I really should have captured that from a BTS perspective at the time, and not even just to post online, just to have for myself and look back on, because there's certain memories that will just maybe sometimes randomly pop in your head, and maybe you want to try and find a picture or a video to relive it, and you don't have it. So I would say to my younger self, capture as much as you can, and just take in as much as you can as well. Like, live in certain moments, because like I was saying earlier, with the Beanie Man and the scrap situation and me traveling, it was just bouncing from job to job to job and not really appreciating where you're at and what I'm doing until moments like this, where you sit down and you realize, well, I really did do all that, and I really did have moments in my career that I can look on and think, yeah, that's crazy. But like I said, I've not necessarily captured all of that on BTS phones or camera or what have you, or photos.
Because you're in the moment.
Because I'm in the moment, which is good at the same time as well, because it's not all about your phones. Sometimes it is good to have memories in your head, and maybe it's just for you to relive, but sometimes it's, I feel like a photo or a video can help just bring back a nice part of your career or a memory in that sense. So yeah, that's the only thing really. Like, I feel like there's not much of my career that I would change. And I know that's not really the question, but there's not much of my career that I would change or do differently. Like, I feel like everything that I did for a reason, and it's got me to where I am now. So yeah, that's probably the only thing.
Well, Kevin, I really appreciate you coming. I feel like we could actually do another 20 minutes, half an hour on, because there's so much,
Easily.
much you've done. But I do appreciate your time. I appreciate you giving us the game. Keep killing the industry, keep bringing new stuff up, keep me on my toes on my computer trying to emulate what you're doing, because to me it's like, yo, you do things and it's like, yo, that's sick. Why you do things? It's like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
And it's not why didn't I think of it? It's more like, yo, he's sick. Why didn't I think of that? All right, cool. You know what I mean? So keep inspiring the next generation of directors. Keep inspiring people like myself, and just keep working and keep killing the game, bro.
I will do.
I'm Flash Johnson. This is episode 1 of Director's Cut. Until next time. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Director's Cut. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.